Is Quarry Road. How's everybody doing today? My name is Rich Carini. I currently serve as the president of Friends of Quarry Road. I don't live in Waterville, but I do work in Waterville, and I recreate in Waterville. And I have a passion for outdoor recreation and the benefits of lifelong activity, specifically lifelong sports and outdoor activities. In fact, I built my career on it. I work as a certified athletic trainer with Wayne General Sports Medicine, and my office is at the Alpine Youth and Community Center in Waterville, where I work as an athletic training coordinator. It's just down the road from Quarry Road Trails. If you're not sure where that is, I'm sure you do. Waterville has a unique asset in the 250 acres that comprises Quarry Road Trails. This city-owned property operates through Waterville Parks and Rec and Public Works with the financial support and volunteer workforce and a guiding vision from Friends of Quarry Road. Last year alone, Friends of Quarry Road invested close to 1,000 volunteer hours in the venue. Since the inception of the venue, we have contributed more than $2 million in assets and contributions to the city park. As a nonprofit, Friends of Quarry Road's mission is to strengthen Greater Waterville by developing exceptional opportunities for four-season outdoor recreation. We can only accomplish this through our partnership with the City of Waterville, Waterville Parks and Rec, and the support of local businesses, organizations, and of course the community. If we'd start the slideshow. We have just a little presentation, and I'll kind of comment along as it goes on. Quarry Road Trails has over 8 miles of multi-use trails that provide year-round outdoor recreation for the greater Waterville area. Of course, we're best known for our snowmaking ability that produces some of the best snow in the state. Thanks to our new high-efficiency air compressor, which was purchased through the cooperation of the City of Waterville and Friends of Quarry Road with support from Efficiency Maine. Not only did we save money on fuel costs, but we also were able to provide skiing opportunities for 115 days and nights this past ski season. We could not do this without the cooperation and partnership of the City of Waterville, including Jeff Tucker, Matt Skane, and the Public Works crew, and of course our volunteers, who work together to help maintain the venue, host events, build trails, and make the snowmaking and grooming possible. They are the heart of the venue. Quarry Road is a four-season venue with activities for both young and the young at heart. This includes our summer racing series, which is currently going on, and they're having a great turnout this year. We've done local color runs, mountain biking events, and some people who just like to come out and enjoy nature by taking in the scenery. Winter returns quickly to Quarry Road, and thanks to an operator's hut for our Alpine staff donated by Ware Butler, we're always ready. And speaking of Alpine, there's the hut. There we go. And speaking of Alpine, it's back. Our 300-foot tow rope and new Learn to Ski program provide opportunities for kids to learn downhill skiing right here in Waterville. Our future includes plans to open the existing and new family-friendly ski trails from the top of the ski hill, allowing a whole new generation of Waterville residents to enjoy this lifelong activity. But the soul of Quarry Road is Nordic skiing. Our trails attract thousands of skiers and their families from all over Maine and New England to participate in races and skiing events. But just wait till you see what's coming next. The vision board that was on the screen is an older rendering of what the future of Quarry Road could look like. You'll find an updated version in your handouts, along with other stats from the venue from this past year. Interestingly, our annual season passes, 63% of those season passes were sold to people who live outside the Waterville area. These pass holders make multiple trips into Waterville to ski, but also to stay and have dinner, to visit the downtown, and to even spend the evenings and nights in the hotels. Thanks to our grant consultant, Jennifer Kierstead, Friends of Quarry Road has worked with Central Maine Growth Council and Kennebec Valley Council of Governments to apply for 2 major grants that are pending in the next month. If awarded, one will provide the city with the majority of funding needed to support an economic impact study to look specifically at the impact of outdoor recreation in Waterville. The other, which we are very optimistic about, could bring over $6 million in investment to the infrastructure of the venue, including environmental improvements, parking areas, EV charging stations, solar panels, equipment rental facilities, indoor restrooms, enlarging our alpine skiing ability, and adding lights to part of the venue. Best of all, it will include a paved multi-use trail that will provide a safe area for athletes to train year-round for Nordic skiing. But not only that, but it'll also be a great place for the community to have walking trails outside in nature that are safe, level, and able to accommodate for strollers, walkers, and even wheelchairs. Of course, we understand that this will all be dependent on the approval of the city planning board, city manager, and of course the city council. But we look forward and are excited on the possibilities. Quarry Road is a gem of Waterville that is poised and ready to shine. It will take a team approach, but given the opportunity, it can become an outdoor recreation destination and a major spark that makes Waterville such a great place to live, work, and play. Thank you for your time and your dedication for the city.
Thank you.
Questions?
Any questions? I see none at the moment.
Thank you very much.
The work you do is great. I love that area. It's come along quite nicely over the last few years.
It's awesome to be out there and just see what's happening.
Matt, this year, I'm going in that thing before I'm done. Go ahead. Absolutely.
My name is Kelly Griffin, and I actually serve as the vice president of the Quarry Road Board, Friends of Quarry Road. And I was born and grew up in Waterville, and I learned to ski on Colby Hill. I did both Nordic and Alpine learning there. So when I moved back to Waterville, I was excited to hear what was happening there and asked to be on the board. And my son has taken Nordic and Alpine learn to ski programs. So we're really excited about the youth recreation. That's been an opportunity from both the city, the Parks and Recs, the volunteers, and the Friends of Quarry Road.
So, okay. So, I just want to say thank you for teaching me, obviously. And, the ski lessons were very fun. I learned a lot from it. Skiing is a hard sport, but once you learn it, it's just like that, So, it's very fun. I just want to say thank you. So, yeah.
Which one do you like better?
What?
Which one do you like better? Nordic or
Downhill.
Go fast.
Can we give this kid a hand? I mean, he just got up. You know how it is? Good job, buddy. Good job. I get a space on my fridge because my kids don't draw me nothing. I know where this one's going. How old are you?
I'm 11.
Nice. You can come get my job in a couple years after Mike's done with it. All right. I'm going to move on to this spiel so that we can actually start the meeting. Good evening, everyone. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Waterville City Council. There are agendas available in the file pockets near the entrance or on the City of Waterville's website. All items appearing on the consent agenda are voted on in one motion and vote. Generally, these items are routine in nature and do not require discussion. All items listed under unfinished business or new business are voted on separately. First, councilors will be given an opportunity for questions or comments. Once councilors have had an opportunity to speak, citizens will be given an opportunity for comments or questions. Citizens must speak at the podium and identify themselves. Each citizen will be allowed one opportunity to speak and will be limited to up to 3 minutes. Finally, the councilors will be given another opportunity to speak or comment. Citizens who would like to speak on a topic that does not appear on tonight's agenda will have an opportunity to do so under the public comment section of the agenda. All right, let's do Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
right. Presentation number 2, market-based adjustments.
Hi, my name is Allison Brochu. I'm the Deputy Assessor to the City of Waterville. This is my boss, Paul Castongway, who is our City Assessor. We, in the assessing office, have been working on doing market-based adjustments. What this means is we basically did a revaluation without having to go door to door, measuring every house, every structure, and getting inside, doing interior inspections. What we did was we looked at sales. Got it. It's been a while since I've been in front of council or any board. So with that being said, what we did was we looked at a sales analysis type of format. We took the sales over the past 2 years to analyze what the sales market is doing when it comes to real estate and what things are going for. We do have a slideshow so that you guys can see some of the numbers as to what we've been seeing. So if we want to go to the next slide. So this wonderful slide here just pretty much tells you what we in the assessor's office do. We are charged by state law with discovering, describing, and valuing property as well as the ownership of that property for the purpose of taxation. To raise the funds for the budget approved by City Council, the assessor prepares a list of these properties annually and commits the assessments to the city tax collector for collection. The assessing office then reports to the State of Maine Department of Revenue Services regarding its activities for the year. So why are we doing this now? Because the state of Maine has laws in place that say that every municipality is required to assess to at least 70% of the market values. With the sales as they have been over the past few years, as you can see in the column that's dated the 2022 year, our sales are a lot higher than our assessments. So what I did was I took the same property. One specific house sold in 2019 for $110,000. We had it assessed at $110,600. It resold in October of 2022 for almost $200,000. Our new assessment is closer to that value than what it was. At the time of the 2022 recording of that sale, the assessment was $124,100, meaning that house was only assessed at 63% of its total fair market value. So, next slide, please. To figure out what we need to raise in tax dollars, there are many different pieces. We need to know what the overall assessed value of the city is. We need to know what the budget is. We need to know what the amount of money is that we need to raise through taxation. In 2023, our overall city valuation between real estate and business personal property is $803,699,400. That is overall value in this city. You can see up above, under the real estate section, that over $500,000 of the city value is tax exempt. That includes the colleges, the hospitals, the churches, and any other nonprofit that qualifies for exempt status. So with value changes, you can see in the small chart on the right, the total real estate value changed between what we committed for taxes last year for assessed values to what we will be committing for this year. Our overall assessment has gone up $590 million because of these assessment changes. This is just a little example of how we come up with a sales ratio. If an assessed value is $200,000 and the sale price is $200,000, then the ratio is 1 or 100%. Same goes for if that same house is assessed at $200,000 and it sells for $250,000, then our ratio is 80%. The sales ratio is a relationship between assessed value and the fair market value of the property. The lower the ratio, the higher the sale price is compared to the assessed value. Pretty standard concept when you're talking about ratios. So with the sales ratio that we did, we looked at each different classification of house, be it a single family ranch, a colonial, a conventional, a Victorian, although we don't have many Victorians. And we look at each neighborhood. The example I have for you is just a bunch of sales that we had over the past 2 years, just in the north end of town. You can see that our sales are significantly lower or significantly higher than our assessed values. And this was before we did assessed market-based analysis. So with a sales ratio study, we take all of these sales, we knock out any outliers, anything that is a transfer that is distressed. So you have a foreclosed home, that's not considered a qualified sale for a sales market study. It's not an arm's length sale. It wasn't on the market for a reasonable timeline. It wasn't on the market for a reasonable value. It was just foreclosed on and auctioned off. That doesn't count as a qualified sale. We have a lot of family sales. Those don't qualify. If I were to sell my house to my son, it wouldn't count as a qualified sale. So after you take out those outliers and the high and low of your sales, you then get your average. Based off of what the state of Maine has looked at for our sales and done their own sales analysis, our average ratio and median ratio was 71%, which is very dangerously close to that 70% that the state mandates we maintain at minimum. So the state of Maine, when they do their analysis, they're roughly 2 years behind looking at sales compared to what we have looked at. And they were saying our commercial properties were at 83% of market value. Industrial was also at 83% of market value, and residential was significantly low at the 71%. So we were very close to them mandating that we were going to have to do a full revaluation again, which would have cost the city a lot more money than it did last time we did a revaluation. So every year before we commit our taxes, we get a letter from Maine Revenue Services letting us know what we are allowed to declare for a certified ratio. So they said that our developed parcel ratio was 71%, as we saw in previous slides. And we have a couple of options. We can either choose to accept the 71%, or option 2, we can do a market-based adjustment and certify at 100%. where everybody will be able to receive full exemption values and not have to have them altered by our certified ratio. So a few reasons why you could choose either option. Option 1, a certified ratio of 71%. Exemptions, including the homestead, would be worth less. Right now, the homestead total value is $25,000. If we certified at a 71%, you would not get the full $25,000 off the top of your assessment before taxation. The overall homestead reimbursement back to the city from Maine Revenue Services would drop, and we would need to raise even more money in taxes. We would lose over $14.5 million in taxable business personal property due to ratio adjustments. Our business equipment tax exemption reimbursements would drop $8.1 million. That's a lot of money the city would lose if we certified at 71%. If we certify at 100% after the market-based adjustments, we maintain exemption and reimbursements at their maximum value. So every resident that has a homestead would get the full $25,000 off the top of their assessment before taxation, saving you roughly $450 this year in taxes. We wouldn't need to adjust anything when it comes to business personal property. We'd be able to tax them on full value. Certifying at 100% improves equity between classes of property. And it gives us more time to monitor the ever-changing market conditions. We know the sales market is crazy. Everybody can see that. At some point, there's going to be a stall, just like there was in 2008. We don't know what's going to happen, but we have to stay within the laws that we are governed by. So, here's the fun part. I took one parcel from 4 different classifications of property. Small single-family home, a condo, a large colonial, and a commercial. In 2022, my personal house, which is a small single-family home, was assessed at $65,200. I live in the upper south end of Waterville. My taxes last year were $1,685.42. My new assessed value is $129,200, which when I purchased my house about a year and a half ago, appraised for $128,000. So I'd say my assessment is pretty gosh darn close to what it should be. With no exemptions, my taxes are going to go up $885.66 for the year. And that's even with the decrease to $19.90 per thousand. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We have to raise the money in taxes, and all the assessments went up. Same with condos and colonials and commercials. Everybody took a major hit this year, and it's out of our control. The market is the market, and the market is what drives our assessments. The good news is that instead of only receiving $17,750 off the top of my assessment for taxation, I get a full $25,000 off the top of my assessment now. So that's going to save me $497.50 in tax dollars. So I won't pay $885.66. Same goes for every other exemption that we have here in the city, as you can see listed in that table. If anyone doesn't know about exemptions, please contact us in the assessor's office. We have all the information regarding homestead exemption applications, veteran exemption applications, widow of veteran exemption applications. There are many other tax relief programs, current use, tree growth, where you can save significant amounts of money on your taxes. There are a couple of other programs that the state has just decided to expand upon. The property tax deferral program, which is a loan with age and income tax requirements. The state will literally pay your property taxes for you, and upon your demise, your heirs will have to pay the state back with interest what they paid in taxes. The other program is the Property Tax Fairness Credit. It is a tax refund with income and property tax and or rent paid limitations. That is all processed at the time you do your income tax returns. If you are a senior citizen and filed for the property tax stabilization program, the property tax freeze, these two programs are the ones that have been expanded upon for you. Does anybody have any questions?
Anyone from the public? Oh, go ahead, Claude.
Just in terms of statistics, what percentage of residential property has been sold over the past 2 years? Do you know? Educated guess?
We had almost 600 sales.
We had over 600 sales.
Sort of 25%? 20%?
For residential,
Yeah.
I would say 75% of it was residential.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, that begs the question then, does that mean that someone like me who didn't buy or sell is just appears to be richer?
We all appear to be richer.
We all appear to be richer. Okay.
We're not. We're all poor. We appear to be richer.
That's correct.
Anyone else? Anyone from the public?
Bill has a question.
If somebody gets their tax bill and they want to have a conversation about it, what do they do?
If anybody wants to have a conversation about their tax bill and their new assessed value, feel free to give our office a call. We will happily sit down with you and talk with you as to how we came up with our numbers, and we will review your property with you. If you want us to come and do an inspection, we can happily do that also. But please call us if you have any questions or concerns. We're actually pretty easy to get along with in the assessor's office, contrary to other people's beliefs.
Chairwoman Green.
So I have a question just about the sort of future of this process and the prospect of a full revaluation. What can we anticipate going forward?
Going forward, we're going to keep our eye on that sales market and keep adjusting as necessary, up, down, sideways. We're going to do what
Right.
we need to do to stay within compliance with the laws.
Okay. So if the market
If the market
collapses, then
if the market collapses, adjustments will be made to bring assessments down
okay.
because we can't go over, I believe it's 110% of fair market value. So if we drop significantly, all the assessments will drop also.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Mayor. I just wanted to add, having just come from another community, this is not unique to Waterville. This is happening all over the place. The real estate market over the past few years since COVID has gone wild. And so it's not just Waterville facing this challenge. This is everywhere. We're all kind of in the same boat. And until the market cools or something changes, this is where we are. But this is something we have to do. And I'll also say the city is going to be putting forward as much as we can as far as education to the public about why this is happening and some good explanation and some background so people understand. Because this isn't always an easy topic to understand, municipal assessing. And so we're going to do as much as we can to make sure people out there understand what we're doing and why, and that this is not unique to Waterville. This is going on all over the place. Thank you.
Paula. Yep, sorry.
Paula Raymond, Ward 7, and I have a couple of questions. One of them is that Gary and I had signed up for as senior citizens for that home one that the state said they would reimburse the city for the monies that we save, I think is how it went. I thought I had read or heard that that was taken away.
It has been. So with the property tax stabilization or the property tax freeze, anyone who signed up for that program will still have their property taxes frozen from last year to the current bill that will be out hopefully by the end of the month. Going forward, that property tax stabilization law has been repealed, which is why Maine Revenue Services has expanded upon the property tax deferral program as well as the property tax fairness credit.
Right, because I believe you sent us a letter to that effect, and it read that we weren't going up this year.
Correct.
But then that'll be changed because LD 130 versus LD something else.
Correct.
Thank you. The second question, or actually it's not a question, it's a suggestion. Brian, you suggested that you're going to do everything you can to let the people in the city know and understand what's going on. And I'm a great one for saying, can we put it out in Facebook? Can we put it out in a series of articles in the local newspaper as clearly and as simple as maybe a fifth grader could read and understand? Because what she showed up on here, I'm like, whoo, okay. It makes no sense to me because I'm not privy to the education you have, the background you have. So I'd sit with you and have 2 hours worth of conversation, as you know, Allison, until I get it. The mathematical equations, I teach math, but not in that vein. So it would be great if, I think the newspaper would be a great place to have a series of articles, steps that for us to understand why, maybe in simpler terms, so that everybody could, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, maybe everybody else did understand everything you said tonight. I just know that I haven't, and I would like to be able to understand it clearer.
Certainly. And a lot of our information as to how we get our assessed values and the processes that we use is available on the assessor's website. We do have a handy little pamphlet that we have out there so that it helps people understand a little bit better.
Is it broken down differently? Because again, the language can be, my
It's
dictionary
more
flipping
words
the
and
pages.
not enough numbers.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Mr. Morris, if you would like to use that, you're more than welcome to.
All right, seeing no other questions, I'm moving to the city manager's report.
All right, thank you. A couple of quick updates. First, Taconic Bridge. Things are getting a little more real there. The Taconic Bridge will be completely closed beginning 6 a.m. on Monday, August 7th, and will reopen at 6 a.m. on Saturday, August 12th. Motorists should use the Carter Memorial Bridge, and pedestrians should use the 2-cent bridge. On August 14th, the bridge will be closed to westbound traffic, Winslow to Waterville, including vehicles and pedestrians, for 1,095 days. Pedestrians can use the 2-cent bridge between Winslow and Waterville, and vehicles should use the Carter Memorial Drive Bridge. Police Department retirement. I'd like to thank Steve Brame, who retired from the Waterville Police Department on July 28th after 21 years of service with the city. So congratulations to Steve, and thank you for all of your service to the city of Waterville over those 21 years. Upper Main Street sidewalks. The Public Works Department has completed the removal of the Upper Main Street sidewalks and rough grading. They did that on Friday, July 28th. Paving of the sidewalks will be completed the week of July 31st this week. Some updates on some road construction, mainly paving. Began road construction on Glen Avenue, Grouse, Lloyd, Merrill, and Morrison Avenue recently, beginning the week of July 31st this week. The roads will be shimmed, and a base layer of pavement will be placed on Morrison Avenue. Utilities will be given a few weeks to adjust structures, and then the surface pavement will begin on all streets after that. Lastly, just a staffing update. Bobby Jo, the Human Resources Department, has moved back to City Hall, so welcome her back to City Hall from Public Works, and the city engineer has moved to Public Works. So some office shuffling, but welcome back, Bobby Jo, to City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Brian?
Just want to say welcome to Waterville.
Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate it. I'm excited. I'm on day 2. I think the building's still standing, everything's good. So thank you, appreciate it.
I've tried to give him a few days before I go in to harass him, so. I got to give you a couple days to get acclimated. Don't you worry, I'm coming. Council comments or committee reports? Go ahead, Claude.
The Comprehensive Plan Review Committee met last week, and we were discussed with Ann Beveridge, who also said that Bill Post is in the loop, that we're going to contact KV-COG, and they're going to provide a representative that will help us to set up a series of public hearings to start discussing the chapters. We've got draft chapters for all of the old chapters, although there may be some things that we may want to add in terms of chapter selection. Anyway, a lot of that will get worked out, I think, in the public hearings. We may want to have some of the public hearings before council meetings in September while we still have this space. But then in October and November, we'll be able, I think, to start using the space over on Front Street, which will mean that we can do some Thursday meetings that if there's a subject that's of great interest to the people in the city, and we have massive turnout, why we can, spend as much time as we want to get the job done. KV-COG will eventually review our proposed new comprehensive plan, so it makes a lot of sense to get them involved at the on the front end of the process. Thank you.
Go ahead, McCormick.
I just came and Paula's got her volunteer shirt on. We just completed the 18th South End Neighborhood Association National Night Out. We had over 300 plus pair of shoes handed out so kids could get to school this year. We had 500 hamburgers, 600 hot dogs, chips, water, all free. Colby donated an ice cream truck. We had Mike enjoying a slushie. Rebecca got to make bubbles. Brian got a hamburger. Nobody that I saw or spoke with said anything negative. Everybody had a good time. We've been doing this for 18 years.
Backpacks too, the 200 backpacks that they were giving out. Yeah.
You have to go make that one. You asked me not to. Right? That's why I didn't say nothing about it. I was waiting for Ryan to say his piece with the backpacks. Everyone had a good time. The only thing I missed, I didn't make a phone call. I would have liked and got the new crash truck down there for everybody to see. Other than that, hopefully next year we're going to outdo this year. I mean, we even had the food truck down there. Everything was free. It was a good time had by one and all.
Thanks.
That's my bit.
Thank you, Tom. It really was a great event, and the bubbles were amazing. Big, huge ones, not just the little ones. But anyway, so thank you to all of the folks that put this on, because it was a huge undertaking, I know, and it was wonderful to see everyone come out. This is an amazing week in Waterville, because tomorrow's the Taste at Head of Falls. And then we have Waterville Rocks on Friday and First Friday downtown. So I hope that people will come out to these events as well. It's really exciting to see so much going on. I do want to also mention that the Housing Committee will meet next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. at City Hall in the Roy Room. And we have a special guest coming to us from Lewiston. Amy Smith from Healthy Homeworks is coming to talk about the nonprofit that she started there and how they are increasing homeownership opportunities for people in Lewiston. So that should be really interesting. Public's welcome to come to that. Thanks.
Anyone else? I just want to, we're missing a counselor today, Counselor Gilly, who was in an accident. So if we can send some thoughts and prayers to his family and himself, hopefully he'll recover soon, but we're thinking about him, and I'd rather see him over there than in a hospital, so get better.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on to public comment section. Anybody from the public have something to say? Ryan, I see you running. Good.
My name is Ryan Finch.
Not Ryan.
No, I did ask Tom if I could say something about the backpacks from the National Night Out Festival. So, I've been volunteering down in the South End, co-chair Friends of Green Street Park for about a decade now. And so I've gone to a lot of South End festivals. I know how important these events are to that community down there. And 3 weeks ago, I found out that the main sponsor who ran the backpack program previously at the festival was no longer in a position to participate this year. It was opening night of MIF. I texted Sam Burdick and I said, hey, how crazy of an idea is it if I decide to start a backpack program with a due date in exactly 3 weeks? And Sam said, all right, we're name the bar I'm meeting at. We're going to plan this out. And we did. We planned it out. We figured out how many supplies, how many backpacks. Well, we knew 200 backpacks. We figured out how many supplies we need to buy and how much it would cost. And then we went to the community and we said, here's what's happening. And the response was absolutely overwhelming. There's a list of a dozen organizations and people that I could thank. That's going to go out in a press release, and I don't have them all in front of me, so I don't want to miss anyone. But what I do want to say is, because of the last minute nature of it, some of the organizations that we went out to weren't in a fiscal position to donate. And so people donated from their own personal family budgets because they recognized how critical this program was to this disadvantaged community. And, and this was an event, the whole National Night Out event is really about community coming together. And there's a lot we can disagree with here in the city. I won't name my objections. But it's really nice sometimes to be reminded that when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the things that actually matter, this community comes together. And again, it's the outpouring of support for this program has been absolutely overwhelming. And so I know this was my idea, but literally all I did was go to the businesses and the organizations and say, hey, can you help? And they're the ones who helped. And so it's really due to them. And I just want to thank them and thank the people of Waterville, especially the families that donated personally, because they understood what this program was about. We gave out 200 backpacks. We probably easily could have given out 100 more. So here's to next year. And thank you to the community.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aaron Hanlon. I live in Ward 7. Just wanted to say a few words about a community project that I've just started, which I'm calling the Citizens Walking Survey. The goal of the project is to evaluate the pedestrian spaces in the city of Waterville sidewalks, crosswalks for safety, accessibility, quality. And the idea is that because it's a lot of space to assess, if we get more people together to contribute a little piece on their regular walking routes or in their neighborhoods, and then compile everybody's notes and photos for areas that they think need improvement, especially if there are areas where there could be a sidewalk that there isn't, or there could be a crosswalk that would make things safer, but there isn't. We can compile those notes into a report and hand it over to city council, the mayor, city manager, and anybody who, any interested party who would be able to take a look at that and see how we can make some improvements. So if that interests you at all, you can contact me at watervillecws@gmail.com, and I have some flyers here that I'm going to put back on the chair at the back of the room that you can take to answer your questions. And I'm happy to take questions today, now, or after, as you like as well. Thank you.
Do you have one of those sheets for me?
Yeah. Would you like?
Yes. And have you had an opportunity to talk to Matt? Because Matt's our park. I was going to say, Matt's going to be a good resource. Thank you. Anyone else in the public? All right. I'm going to move on to consent agenda.
Move to adopt.
Second.
I would like to move that we remove the minutes from the consent agenda. There were a few elements that I felt needed to be revised. So, and I've spoken to the clerk's office about it, and so that's my motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, so that's removed.
Okay.
Now move it as amended.
And now we're back to the consent agenda.
Right, okay. So I'll move the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, I like when you guys are here. All right. Moving on.
So now,
Minutes.
if you want to make amendments to the minutes now. No, the minutes are on the floor. They haven't been adopted yet.
Or we could table pending edits.
Yeah,
them
I
if you'd
think
like.
pending edits for next meeting.
Bring them back at the next meeting.
Right. Yeah, thank you.
Do we need to table that? Do you need a motion for that?
Move to table.
Okay, yeah.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? It's everyone. Thank you, Brian. All right, moving on to number 7, reconsideration of item.
Do we want to read by title only?
Yes, we do.
Second.
All in favor? Done.
Mayor, if we could back up for just one moment.
Sure.
There was no disclosure of conflict of interest. Do we want to do that at this point?
Oh, yes, sorry. We had skipped around. Anybody get just any conflicts they got to disclose? Sure.
Thank you.
All right, we're good there. I see reconsideration item ordinance 117/2023.
Do we need to move to reconsider first? So I will move that we reconsider this item.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Yep.
Thank you.
Good.
So
Okay,
the item is back
so-
on the floor prior to the
Right.
second reading.
Okay, so I move that we adopt the amended language, the amendment with the amended language that was provided by our attorney, and that is in the packet for the minutes. I also have one further amendment I'd like to propose, just to clarify the language a little bit and shorten it. And Patty, do you have that to read for us?
I do. So, directly following the
amended version that was in your packet. The following paragraph details the language that would be included in a posted notice on an unsafe building. And the proposed amendment would be to strike out the last part of that. So it basically says this structure is unsafe and its occupancy has been prohibited. And then by the fire chief or code officer, that language would be struck. So it's just clarifying or cleaning that language slightly.
So it's just, right, so it says the structure is unsafe and its occupancy has been prohibited. It just
Correct.
doesn't specify by whom.
Right.
But the amended language clarifies that either the fire chief or the code enforcement officer may declare the building unsafe, and within 24 hours, they need to agree that that is the case. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
So there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Go ahead.
Okay, we tried to table this so this wouldn't happen. Claude motioned, I second, Gilly went with us. Now we're looking like hacks because we're having to reconsider something that should have been left tabled. Slow down and let's look at it. Instead of doing reconsideration here now. I don't like doing reconsiderations. That's why we make motions to table so we can think about these things and find the errors. Am I right?
Well, if you're talking about the meeting that we had 2 meetings ago where we moved not to table, that had to do with making room for the discussion.
We tried to
That we-
table
the
so
public
that
hearing.
we tried to table so that we could have the public hearing and everything else. 3 of the counselors were in such a rush to get it through, we made the first motion. And yes, I did vote for it because I do like this. I just don't like when we have to come back and look at something when we should have stopped and looked at it, just gave it a day or two to find things like this now. And then go through.
I think we're just cleaning up language. We're not like finding something. And we
But
went
that's
and
still
had the
cleaning
public-
up language is still finding things.
Did you write it?
I didn't write it.
Okay, then. Then you want to talk about how the soup is made and you didn't do
No,
it?
I just didn't like the procedure. I think we should have
Noted.
slowed down a little bit.
Noted.
So I would just offer that the problem here was that we didn't have the clear language on the amendment. And I think that I think it's good to take lessons from this so that we can do better next time. And I would say next time we just need to have precise language if we're making an amendment.
Bill.
Point is taken.
As the guilty party, you said this had to come back for reconsideration. Oh, well, that might help. How about now? Okay. As the guilty party, you said this needed to come back for reconsideration. It was because your second reading was, with the amendment, was the adoption of something in concept, but without the exact language. And if you're going to create an ordinance, it must have exact language. And so I worked on that with the fire chief and with the code enforcement office and brought that language back before you after I reviewed the tape of the last meeting and got the idea of what your goal was. And the language before you, I believe, does meet what you wanted, and it has certainly met with the approval of both the fire chief and code enforcement. And the next time around, it would be better, it probably would be better just to postpone and let's get the language correct. I had spoken with Bill Post and said, gee, I don't think there's any reason for me to be at the council meeting. And he said, yeah, I agree with you. It doesn't look like there's any need for you. So I wasn't at the council meeting. But anyway, I ended up listening to the council meeting after the fact, and lesson learned.
Tabling wouldn't have changed that. We just tabled it to the next meeting and then still had the public comments.
But to your point, Tom, I think it was good to have the public hearing, clearly, you know, and we responded to the ideas that came out of it. And so that's a good lesson.
Counselor Frank.
I think Tom makes a good point. This is an ordinance that we have now considered and voted on 3 times rather than 2. I think that is sloppy on the part of council, and I'm hoping that the new city manager will help us tighten things up so that we look more like a governing body.
I think we did pretty good, and I wouldn't be throwing Bill Post under the bus like that. All right, can we please have a vote on this?
This is on the amendments.
Yep. All in favor?
Now, can we move it as amended?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
We need a roll call
roll-
on this
right,
one.
roll-
Oh, that's right, even when they're, here, roll call. I always get confused with the roll call.
Counselor DeBrito,
Yes.
Counselor Klepak, not here.
Definitely not.
Counselor Green,
Yes.
Counselor Morris,
Yes.
Counselor Frankie,
Yes.
and Counselor McCormick.
Yes.
Moving on to new business, Resolution 129, 2023.
Approve bid award for crack and seal remarking project at the airport and issue notice of proceed to J.J. Cunningham LLC.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Questions? Go ahead.
So I just wasn't clear from the information we had in the packet whether there was a bid process. Or how this company was identified.
Yes, so there was a bid process. We followed the FAA's required specifications for that. J.J. Cunningham was the low bidder out of 5 bidders. Prices range from just over $400,000 to the low bid of the $150 to $165. I'm comfortable with that bid. We worked with J.J. Cunningham on the initial striping of the runway several years ago. They performed very well. I was happy with the work that they did. So I have no qualms with the price that they gave us.
Great, thank you.
Go ahead, Claude.
Is this something that was in the 23-24 budget, or is this a separate item, or is this something that we get reimbursed from the FAA?
So this project will be 90% funded by the FAA, 5% by the state, and then our local share will be 5%, which is about $11,000, and that will come from our solar reserve account. And I anticipate the next time that we go to do this, it's going to be significantly less than our engineering side, because our engineer has gone through and updated everything. But this is something that we'll be doing every 3 to 5 years.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor? Now get out of here. Your wife's waiting for dinner. Moving on to Resolution 130, 2023.
Approve bid award for winter sand and to Mantor Construction of Maine.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Go ahead.
So I'm just wondering if, I know a few years back when we talked about joining KV Cog, getting winter sand was a bonus with that membership. And so is this price better than what we would get from KV Cog?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know that it is. I would expect that it is, but I don't. I can't say. Yeah.
Should we table?
We do. I know that we do our salt through the MDOT, which is a combined effort, competitive. But
Okay.
for the sand, we do the RFP in the newspaper, and we, like I said in the council memo, that we contacted each of the local pits and only got the one bid.
Should we
Okay.
verify that bid with what we could get from KV Cog?
I guess we could. It wouldn't
I
hurt.
mean, it does not
I
going to hurt us
think
to
it
table
wouldn't
this,
hurt.
right?
It wouldn't hurt.
I think I would be more comfortable with that.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we're happy to do that.
Can I get a
Thank you.
motion to table?
Motion to table.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, you thought you were leaving. You're here for the next one, too. Resolution 131, 2023.
Approve revised Nordic Alpine ski rates for Quarry Road Trails 2023 season.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion, Matt? Tell us-
Well, I'd like to introduce Jeff Tucker. He's our program director from Quarry Road, if that's okay with folks.
Done deal.
Yeah, he did a lot of the research and analysis on, the existing communities and what they're charging, and like we said in the action request, that it brings us much closer to being in line with what others are charging, and we feel very good about the product that we offer. So, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. Hi. Is this on? Hello.
Yep, there we go.
Great. Hey, I'm Jeff Tucker. I'm the program director at Quarry Road Trails. And yeah, just like Matt said, this is a revision or a review of our prices. It hasn't been done in about 2 years. Similar to, the tax assessment that was discussed earlier. We looked at other main ski areas, what they're charging, what our market share is, and we're adjusting the prices. Interestingly, we decided not to significantly alter Waterville day tickets, and that's in an attempt to get more Waterville citizens out to Quarry Road Trails to try skiing, both cross-country and downhill. So most of the adjustment that you see, it is up towards the market average, but it's not a significant step away from what we're charging Waterville citizens. So happy to answer any specific questions you have on it.
What are the day rates?
It's currently $15 for adult, 10 for a student and a senior, but that's for the non-Waterville rate. The Waterville rate is a 30% discount from that.
Okay.
And it should be noted that we do also have scholarships for all programs for Waterville residents. We don't turn anyone away for that. So,
Can you give us a quick rundown on some of those activities?
sure. So we've got after-school skiing for K through 12. We've got a youth ski program, which is that's K through 6 students. There are about 80 kids in that program, mostly from Waterville, but also the surrounding communities. We've got a 20 to 30 person middle school ski team that competes in the main junior ski league and cross-country skiing. And then we've got about a 20 person cross-country ski high school team. And then we're in our third year, we will be in our third year of alpine skiing. And we went from 10 skiers last winter to 65 this winter in the alpine ski program. And that's a learn to ski program, 2 days a week, Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings. And we're looking to expand that further this year by adding, hopefully, some after-school alpine ski options. So we've got plenty of youth programming opportunities. We also started a master's Nordic program, so that's for adult skiers, intermediate to advanced. We had 30 participants in that last year, and we're hoping to expand that to beginner skiers, so offering beginner community ski lessons and just a group to ski with. So lots going on in the winter.
Thank you. Any questions? Claude?
Just because rates is what's on the table, not all of the other stuff that the mayor's talking about. Do I understand that all of the rates are going up, but the Waterville rates are not going up quite as much?
Do you have the sheet in front of you with the rate adjustments? So there was a document that was created for council with the rate adjustments, but it's the non-resident rates that are going up, and they're only going up to the market average. So there are all these different categories. So seniors, students, just normal adults, children under 6 ski for free. So after a research process, some of those categories in both day tickets and season pass sales increase to about 15 to 30% above what we were charging. And I would reiterate, this is the first time this review process has happened in several years, a complete review. So this brings us more in line with what the actual operating costs are of the venue, in addition to what the actual market value is for a day ticket or season pass. The one area that's not going up to the market rate is we're keeping Waterville day tickets at basically between 50 cents to $1 of what we're currently charging, which is I think $7.50 for a senior or student, $10 for an adult. So that price is actually staying the same. So the discount goes from being a 30% discount to about a 50% discount from a day ticket rate. And the one other area that's actually not going up is we're now bringing Waterville Waterville resident discounts into alpine skiing. Last year was just a flat rate for day tickets and season passes, but we're now to try to encourage more Waterville residents to try downhill skiing at the rope tow. We're actually lowering those prices for Waterville residents. So not everything is going up.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
The new proposed rate sheet is in your packet, the last page of your packet.
I just want to say, I think you did a great job of really carefully calibrating these prices, and I particularly appreciate that Waterville residents get such a substantial discount. So thank you for that, and I hope that'll mean more Waterville residents will take advantage of everything you have going on out there.
Yeah, a big part is just getting the word out.
Right,
Because there are still
right.
citizens within Waterville that don't know we have, I mean, you saw those pictures earlier.
Yeah.
It is really amazing in the winter if you haven't been out there.
Right.
We have quite the operation, and that's both Parks and Rec staff as well as volunteers. So.
Tell all your
Great.
friends, Tate. Get them out.
Any other questions? All in favor? All right. And a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.